My name is Amanda Sturgell. I work for Polk Stanley Wilcox Architects as an architect intern. I'm close to having my license. I have a few more tests to go. I've served kind of as a project architect for different projects for our firm. We work all through the states, a couple of other states in fact. We do lots of hospital work, educational work, higher educational work, lots of different projects downtown Little Rock that you'd recognize. I'm just so proud of what the team's accomplished. I live here in Saline County. I'm a Bryant High School grad, and I'm here to talk to you about architecture today. I chose architecture as a career because, and this is kind of personal, but I always looked around and looked at things around me and wondered why. I think when my parents were building my house, I kept asking my grandfather, who was working on the house, "What are you doing?" You know, I was in that toddler phase, and I was, "What are you doing? What's that? Why is that there? What are you doing?" And bless that man, he answered all of my questions, and he was so patient. And I just grew up with this curiosity about what was going on around me, and then just building things with blocks, seeing things built with my hands, and working in a creative way like that. It was just always fascinating to me, and I was just interested in it from the very, very beginning, like 2 or 3. So, and a lot of us have similar stories like that. We got started young. My typical day consists of, I'll be working on a detail in Revit on the computer, a 3D image, maybe Photoshop, something like that, to help sell something to a client and pitch our ideas for them. And then I'll get a phone call from a client asking a question about another job, and I really have to switch gears very quickly and be able to answer their questions and help them out. Lots of multiple projects to handle at a time, and we really try to give everyone our full attention so that we're really rendering a service that's helpful, personable, and that we're getting the job done correctly and well for them. Still, when you're in that zone and you're excited about what you're drawing on, sometimes it's hard to step away, which, it's great that we're passionate like that, but sometimes that makes it a little hard. Sometimes I stay late, not because I have to, but because I want to. So I'm just very lucky that I've got a job that allows me to do that I get to be creative all day. Even when it's just business work or meeting notes, it's just a lot of fun. That is a very complicated question. How long does a project last? If any of my coworkers are watching this, they're gonna laugh at me. I've had, projects that come in very quickly. They're a little renovation drawing. They just need an idea for what they're doing. That could be a couple days even, a couple of weeks. A bigger project like the Robinson Auditorium or, a big hospital wing, I haven't worked on any of those yet. Those can take, 18 months. 6 months, 12 months. It really depends on the schedule, or they may want lots of options, and so we spend more time delving into different options for them. It very much depends on the client, what they need, and what type of service we're providing for them. It's really hard to say, because by the time you're done with them, they're like your baby. I've been very lucky. I got to dive into being a project architect for several projects that I was handling a lot of the work, which is kind of rare for an intern, and I'd like to thank my bosses for that, that I got that opportunity to lead projects that way. So I'm very ingrained in the projects that I have done so far. The Bank of Cave City, the Entergy projects in the Entergy service centers in Batesville and Mountain View, and then I've had kind of a minor role in some residential projects, and I'm leading a couple now. So they're all just so personal that it's hard to say which one I'm the proudest of. I think I had the most free input on the Bank of Cave City. They wouldn't put art on the walls without asking us where it should go. They just really wanted our opinion on everything, and they really asked for that. So I think that type of close client relationship really makes it easy to be so proud of everything that we do. College was fun. Architecture school, specifically at Fayetteville, is no joke. It's a very serious program. It's very well regarded through the entire nation. The education that you'll get through the University of Arkansas School of Architecture is second to none. We have a great reputation. But I think, obviously, the rumors that, do you sleep in studio and do you have your toothbrush in studio? No, but, there are projects that take, a lot of time. You're gonna be in studio with your classmates a lot, and you're gonna be in studio outside of class a lot. And it really just makes sure that, if you're really dedicated to this, you'll be successful, but it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of commitment. I was involved in a sorority, so I did have that social aspect as well, which I think is really important, not to just have your head down and buried in your work. So I would say be balanced, but college was a great time, and looking back, I can laugh about it now, but at the time it was very intense, but very, very much worth it. Abroad.
That's what
I did, yes, I did study abroad. It was a fantastic experience. I got to live in Rome for a semester, and you're really immersed in the culture. You live in your own apartment. We had a little family that lived above us, and God bless that child, he tried a lot, and it was just, we really got immersed into their culture with food, and the architecture over there is just, you know, nothing, unless it's 500 years old, it's not old there, and that may be pushing it, and they're just, architecture is so important in that culture that it's just fascinating to study places like the Colosseum that have been around for so long, and just to see that before you really start your career and study that and work there. You have classes there just like you would anywhere else at university. So we were learning from Italian professors. We got to sneak behind, you know, the walls of the Vatican. He told us the secret ways to get through, and it's just fascinating to have a real Italian professor take you through these amazing works of art that are architecture in Italy, and just have that that background knowledge of what's going on. It was fascinating, it was well worth the experience, and I just absolutely loved it. To prepare for architecture school or to prepare for a career in architecture, I would suggest art classes. Really paying attention to your history classes. They suggest physics, I think. You know, calculus would help prepare you. There's not as much stary math as people think. But those classes would definitely help. I think really the art classes, the sketching, understanding scale, using your hands to draw, really understanding the spaces around you, maybe trying to sketch what you're seeing in front of you. That really helps, because as you start to design your own buildings, your own work, you need to be able to understand what you like about a space, what you don't like about a space. And if you can't really see that and analyze it, you're not going to know what your preferences are and maybe what your goals are. So I think art, big time, and then just research different architects and figure out which ones you like. That's the fun part. You know, the images. We're all about images. So I think researching art classes, physics classes, calculus classes, and then just being really curious about the world around you. Everything around you is designed by somebody. This camera is designed by somebody. This room was designed by somebody. Why is it the way it is, and what do you think about it? What can make it better? What did it do right? So I just really having that curiosity is just really important, I think. Do I often work with engineers? Absolutely, yes. Some of them may like working with me, some may not. I think actually most of them do. We're very much integrated with them. For every project, you know, the architect may be the leader on it, but there's a mechanical engineer, sometimes there's audiovisual engineers, acoustical engineers, there's always electrical engineers, structural engineers, civil engineers, landscape architects. There's this whole team of people that are working behind the scenes that you don't really notice that stuff when you're walking through a building. You know, you don't notice, man, that ductwork's really routed nicely. There's a reason for that, because it was done so well that it serves its purpose, but it's very much integrated in that, you know, structure has to run a certain way. Ducts have to get from point A to point B. All of that has to happen, and I'm just so glad we're not charged with doing that ourselves, because it would be a hot mess. We are basically the coordinator of all the engineers. We have, you know, weekly meetings sometimes for design discussions, and we print out, you know, issue areas where this is hitting this, we need to route this a different way. And then they're such experts. The thing that we'll say is that I've heard an engineer say is they're an expert in one thing. The joke for the architect is we have to know a little about a lot. So we understand the systems, but they're the expert that really helps us design those systems to work flawlessly and in unison with our, you know, big architectural dream for the space. So yes, I definitely work with engineers a lot. I enjoy working with them because they make our wild, crazy dreams possible. They actually stand up and they're willing to work with us no matter what our crazy vision is. I think STEM education is incredibly important. I am a grad from Bryant High School a long time ago now, and I was in Miss Norris's class, Principles of Engineering, or maybe it was Introduction of Engineering actually, and just understanding those computer programs at first, just having a run of it and understanding what we were doing, building something apart from a machine, or designing, I think we designed castles. I'd never done that before. I'd never built a model before. You know, I'd played with Legos and whatnot, probably past the age that that's acceptable, but I think that building that with your hands and really seeing that in class was vital, and it really showed me that I really do like doing this. Before I went to college and paid for an education, you know, and realized maybe I didn't like it as much, or maybe I did. So it really gives you a chance in high school to really see what you're capable of. I never knew that I could do things like that until I took Miss Norris's class. And I think that the fact that Bryant has that program here, and you guys are just building robots and doing all kinds of crazy stuff, I'm just so proud of how far it's come, and I can't wait to see what you guys do. I think it's absolutely vital that this program go on at Bryant. I'm just so proud of the program here at Bryant, and I think that you guys are doing great work. Stay curious, stay in these STEM classes, do everything you can. Let's get more girls in these STEM classes. I was so happy to see the amount of girls today, because I think when I was here it was like 2 girls and a sea of guys. So girls, you know, stay strong, keep it going. You make sure those guys let you talk in your group meetings and stuff. Fight for it. And you know, if anybody has any questions about architecture, please feel free. Mr. Williams has my contact information.
He gets like super. Yeah.